are you guys? I've done a lot of decoupage videos with you guys, and typically we use top coat and we paint it on, and then we put the decoupage paper on and all that stuff. And in most of my videos, a lot of people say, well, what about the iron-on method, blah, blah, blah. So that got me curious. So that's what we're gonna do today. We are going to do the iron-on method for decoupage. Now, I wanna talk about a couple things about decoupage. And mostly it's paper. When you see paper weight, so it'll say 10 pound or 18 pound or 20 pound or like lower, like 8, blah, 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 right? The pound is they take a stack of papers and weigh them. And how much do those papers weigh together? I think it's 500 sheets. I could be wrong on that. I will Google that and put the right answer, but there is a method to it. There's so many papers that they put in a pack, and when they weigh it, that is the pound of the paper, okay? So, as you can imagine, a 10-pound paper weighs less than an 18-pound paper. So the paper is then thinner. So a 10-pound paper, if you're looking, like I have them on my website, okay? So if you're looking on my website and you're going to buy paper, a 10-pound paper is thinner than an 18-pound paper. So this, and I'm hoping this translates over video because you're not here to touch it. This is a 10-pound paper. It is, can you hear that? You can kind of see through it, right? It is mostly tissue paper, okay? This is what we're gonna be using today, by the way. Then there is a 18-pound paper. This is more like a paper, right? It's more substantial. So this is more, let's see if we can just like fragile paper. Okay, so most of the time in most of my videos, we were using 18-pound paper. Well, then I started to get some 10-pound papers that were still pretty, right? And they're lighter. You can go grab tissue paper from any of your tissue paper stores, but they wrinkle easier. I just wrinkled the heck out of this one. I don't know if you guys can see all of them, but they're more fragile. You saw me with 18-pound paper. I was pulling on it, right? You can't do that with a 10-pound paper. So when decoupaging gets wrinkled and crunked and all that kind of stuff, how do we possibly decoupage with it the old-fashioned way? Because it's a little bit more difficult. And that's where I wanted to show you guys the iron-on method. So I even bought a cute little iron. I will put that in the links. I have my papers that I get them from everywhere, and I do make sure to buy extra, and they are on my website, which is graceonbroadwaypa.com. So, but I do get them from everywhere. They're not all one maker at this point. If I see pretty papers and I buy it for me, I buy extra for you guys. So what we're gonna do, and then I'm gonna kind of tilt it down so you can see the project, okay? Is I have my cute little cheese board, cutting board, whatever you want to call it. This is from Sinopoly. It's a nice, thick, good wood, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it floral, okay? So it's gonna be super cute. This is not going to be a functional cutting board. We're not gonna use it for food. We're just gonna make it super pretty, okay? So, before I decoupage anything, I put a base coat of paint. I want, when you see through here, if you do, or should it rip or distress, I pick a complementary color. I want my white to still be whitish, so I picked a white, but I picked a little bit of a darker white, so I picked drop cloth. So we are going to paint this in drop cloth. All right, so we are going to paint with drop cloth. This is my Dixie Belle large flat paintbrush, which is gonna make super quick work of painting it. Now we're going over this with decoupage, so you don't need 2 coats of paint. You just want to have 1 coat of coverage, especially if, like, we're doing a small project now, but it's really to teach you how to do this on a larger project. So in the event that your decoupage rips, or you distress a little part, or it doesn't run all the way over, you want to make sure that under your decoupage matches the rest of your piece, right? Okay, so now we painted this in drop cloth, so we're done. We don't need to do anything crazy. So I'm going to put my lid on. I'm going to put this away. I'm going to heat gun this super quick. We're going to speed up the process, but I wanted to show you guys from start to finish process. Now, I've talked in other videos before about our layers, okay? So what are layers? So if you did your slick stick or boss and you had wompy weavy paint lines, then you put paint on it and your wompy weavy line got bigger because now you built on that paint line, right? Then you put your top coat. Well, now it's bigger yet again. So same thing works with decoupage and everything else. You want to make sure that all your surfaces are ready for the next level. This actually is super smooth. I'll show you. Right? We don't have too much there. However, it'll take me 4 seconds, not even, to take my Surf Prep Wrap Pad, so that's foam on the back, abrasive on the front, in very fine. Okay, so now my surface is painted, it's dried, and it's smooth, okay? So what we're gonna do is we are going to, so say this is, I know it's a cheese board, but let's pretend it's our dresser. It's a drawer. And we painted it, and now it's dried. Dixie Belle Satin Clear Coat. We are gonna paint it on. Again, you're gonna want to kinda watch your paint lines a little bit. You wanna be generous with it, but you don't wanna create like huge mountain divots. So just nice and even on your piece. Oh, that's where it's coming from. I must have used something else here because it got all over my hands and on here. That's what I get for trying to be neat, guys. My last project comes back to haunt me. Okay. So now you've taken your brush and you've put your satin clear coat all over your piece. So pretty simple so far, right guys? We've painted and now we put a healthy yet even coat of Dixie Belle satin on our piece. In real life, you're going to let this dry. So in reality, you're gonna let it dry. For today, we are gonna use our heat gun again. All right, dry. This is the paper that I picked. It's a pretty floral. Okay, so nice and dry. We painted with drop cloth. We put satin clear coat. Now we're gonna take our tissue and we're gonna place it over where we want. Now, instead of keeping my tissue nice, I did kind of show you guys a whole bunch of stuff earlier and I kind of crinkled it a little bit. So I'm just pulling my tissue to try to get out some of those crinkles. Normally I try to keep my tissue paper nice to begin with, but I was excited and showing you guys the noise and I crinkled it up. Okay, we're gonna take parchment paper. Just regular old parchment paper. Got it from the grocery store. And we're gonna put that on top, okay? So decoupage sheet, parchment paper. I went and got a handy dandy little craft iron. This could be your regular iron at home. The only thing you want to make sure is that you turn off the steam. You don't want steam. Okay? And we are literally going to just iron it. And what that's going to do is it's going to reactivate the clear coat that dried, and it's going to grab onto the decoupage paper. And this is a really good way to do the very thin tissue type paper, okay? Yes, you can iron your paper first so that it's nice and smooth. I kind of just smoothed it out, and this is just for showing purposes. So sometimes my stuff I do live doesn't come out perfect because I'm more showing you guys steps. But you can iron your paper if for some reason there's a wrinkle, or a lot of times when we ship decoupage paper, the best way we can ship it is to kind of light fold it, and then the post office goes ahead and puts weight on it and it gets folded again. So my temperature right now is set between 3 and 4, which is between 280 and 327 degrees. So I would say it's about 300 degrees. So, and I have a little stand because again, when things are hot, we want to be careful, okay? So what we can do is, look, it's already starting to attach, okay? When you light pull it, you can see that it's attaching. But we can also kind of double check and see that we need a little bit more heat here, and we need a little bit more heat here. So then we just put this back, and we're gonna put some heat pressure here and here. And then we're gonna move on because this spot seems to kind of be working out pretty good already. Okay, look at how good that's sticking, guys, okay? It's sticking good. We still need to do, I think, this bottom section here. It's actually, you know what, even that's doing pretty good right now. We're almost done with the ironing part. We are good and on. I'm going to show you guys this up close so you can see how smooth it attached. Look at how straight and smooth. Isn't that awesome? So it is super on. It's even, look how tight that is. That's because of how well it adhered. It's almost like a drum. We're gonna take our rad pad that I usually cut, and I'm going to just use this along these edges. And now, ta-da! We have a floral board. Now, I saw that in that process, it looked like this corner. I don't want to mess with it too much. Oh, there it is. See, it pulled up just a tiny bit, but I'm not gonna panic. All I'm gonna do is take my paper and we're just gonna reapply heat to this corner. Okay? That's all we're gonna do. We're not gonna pull it back. We're not gonna do anything crazy. We're just gonna realize that that little corner got a little bit neglected when we were initially doing our heat. And we're gonna put some more heat on. And now what I like to do is I like to let my piece dry at this point, because the satin clear coat has not cured, which is why it's reheating and reactivating. And then after it is dried for, you know, an hour or two, or sometimes I let it sit overnight, then I put my additional coat of clear coat on top, because I don't want to reactivate the clear coat that's underneath. And I do that when I do the regular decoupage traditional application also. I like to just let it dry and sit like this, and then I will put my clear coat on. So, look at how nice and smooth. And this is with tissue paper, which is typically harder to decoupage with. Tissue paper is also 10-pound paper or lighter. So the 18-pound paper is easier to use in the traditional method. So this is a tissue paper. So this was it. Super light, super easy to crinkle. And that's why I wanted to show you guys how easy it can be. So that is how we do the iron-on method. I hope I taught you guys a little something extra about that. I do have all sorts of decoupage paper on my website. These are rad pads. I have these on my website. I will go back and answer all of your questions here shortly. Thank you all for being with me. And if you have any questions now, next week, next month, next year, all you have to do is go to Grace on Broadway, PA, which is Grace on Broadway is my Facebook page, and hit the message button and write me a message with your question. My website is graceonbroadwaypa.com. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for being with me this Tuesday. All right, bye guys.